What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap for the third game of the season. And by far, well, they've only got two of them, but by far the best win of the season. A great come from behind win for the Seattle Mariners as they defeat the Boston Red Sox 4-3. I am going to break it all down here in just a few seconds. First and foremost, once again, guys, and I'm sorry to do it if it's, you want me to jump into the recaps, but I cannot thank you guys enough for the support I am getting so far. My first two post-game recaps, well over 3,000 views combined for both of them, close to like 100 subscribers that I've added. Just the fact that many people want to listen to me and are subbing and supporting my channel, cannot tell you guys how much that means to me. So truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. The new subs and people that have been with me from the beginning. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. And again, use that promo code down below on SeatGeek for $20 off your next purchase by using promo code JS Trident. Download the app or use the website on SeatGeek to do that. Guys, this is a game the Mariners did not win last year. They lost this game last year. And this was one of the issues last year, is that they lost these type of games that looked very winnable through 9 innings, and they wouldn't pull them out. They'd get to extras. They'd get 2 strikes on a hitter. And you've got, Pablo Reyes flicks a single in there. Reese McGuire gets a double. Yoshida base hit 3-1. And the Mariners just couldn't pull them out in extra innings. They either would add a couple base runners and they couldn't get that clutch hit to bring a runner home, or whatever it was. They were not winning this game last year. Maybe a little bit exaggeration. I'm sure they had a couple come from behind victories that I'm missing last year. I'm not saying it never happened, but for the most part, this game right here, they were losing last year. So it's a great sign that they're able to come back, find a way to get this win, and improve to 2-1 on the young season. And really it did. I at 2-1, I wasn't super worried because, it's hard in extra innings to not give up 1 run. But when Boston made it 3-1, I was not very optimistic for a couple reasons. One, Ty France was your ghost runner at second. Doesn't inspire a ton of confidence with his ability on the base paths. Now, his run doesn't really matter in that instance when you're down by a couple runs, but still, you like having someone with a little more speed out there. You had Rayleigh against a lefty. You had Rojas against a lefty, JP against a lefty, and they found a way. A little surprised if Kenley Jansen is out or something, why the Red Sox didn't go to Kenley Jansen. I get you had a bunch of lefties coming up and everything like that, but, Jansen's been a proven closer and pitched Thursday, but didn't pitch yesterday. So I'm a little shocked they didn't go to Jansen there. And it's not like Joely Rodriguez was, like one of the top lefty relievers in baseball or anything last year either. So I was a little surprised by that decision, but I'm not here to break down what Boston's decisions are. I'm here to break down what the Mariners' decisions were. What a 10th inning. Obviously talk about Ty France being the ghost runner. Luke Rayleigh sends a little blooper into left field. Listen, Mariners have hit some balls hard without results. That happens. But on the flip side, sometimes you can drop little dinkers in there and you get RBI base hits. So Rayleigh dropped that in there. That scored Ty France to make it 3-2. Luis Urias in his defense stung a ball like 105 off the bat right to a defender for an out. Then how about Josh Rojas? A really nice at bat. Rojas had a solid game with a couple hits. He got one into the outfield for a base hit that got by. I think it was, who was the right fielder for the Red Sox? Let me pull it up real quick as I pull up the box score. It was, why can't I find right field? Abreu. That bobbled it out there, and which was huge because allowed Luke Rayleigh to get to third and Rojas to get to second. So instead of first and second, 3-2, still got a chance, but double plays in order, everything. Now you've got runners at second and third, and a base hit wins it. And then how about Luke Rayleigh? Deserves a lot of credit. Great speed, great base running by Rayleigh. JP hits a grounder right to second that should have probably been an easy out at home. The Red Sox had the infield in. I mean, a tailor-made what you're looking for from Boston's perspective in JP's at bat there. That grounder right to a defender, and Luke Rayleigh gets a great jump on that ball and beat it by a mile. Wasn't even close. I was a little bit worried. I saw the safe call and I was like, well, let's wait and see the replay before getting too jacked up, and then saw the replay and it wasn't even close. Luke Rayleigh, probably the MVP at least in extra innings. I think Logan Gilbert's going to be the MVP of the game, but certainly in that 10th inning there, Luke Raley played dividends because that is not an easy play to beat out. That was another play. Like I talked about the whole game in general being one the Mariners lost last year. That play last year was something the Mariners would have been out on that, right? That was, I feel like we saw that a few times in 2023 as well. But Raley finds a way to get in there. And then Julio Rodriguez, I'm talking about everything here. And how could I not mention congratulations to Julio on his first career walk-off hit. Jake from You Love to See It, by the way, go check out the video. He did a kind of a preseason prediction with 5 or 6 content creators, myself included. And one of them was, how many walk-offs will the Mariners have and who will get them? And I think I'm not tooting my own horn here. I think all the people on there said it, but Julio was due for one 100%, and he got it. And it was great to see it as a base hit, right? Like I would have taken a sac fly there, a little grounder that he beats out. Don't really care how, don't care how the sausage is made in extra innings. I just want it to, bring home the bacon. Does that analogy even make sense? I don't think so, but, you guys know what I mean. So it's great to see Julio with the base hit though, to end it. And then, obviously all walk-offs are always fun, seeing the guys mob each other out there. Just a great feeling and great for Julio because, well, I don't think that's like a monkey that was on his back or anything that, you don't have a walk-off hit. But again, last year, and I love Julio. He's my pick for AL MVP. He was my pick for AL MVP last year, my favorite player. But there were some moments last year in big situations where he did not come through. I don't think that lessens Julio, but, it is what it is. It's true. He did not come through in some big situations last season. So really, really great to see him deliver the game-winning hit and just a tremendous, tremendous victory for the Mariners. Now let's dive into the rest of it, starting with the pitching. Logan Gilbert, I mean, this pitching staff is just incredible. We saw George Kirby last night. And how about Logan Gilbert tonight? 7 innings. I was about to say, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. I mean, Logan is, I think, actually my favorite Mariner pitcher because he's kind of not forgotten, not by Mariners fans, but, Castillo's the ace. He's kind of the headliner. George Kirby, with his ridiculous strikeout to walk ratios, gets a lot of hype, and rightfully so. I will hype up George Kirby with anybody. And then you got Logan there. And like I talked about Kirby with the Cy Young effort last night. That was a Cy Young performance from Logan Gilbert tonight, people. That was absolutely worthy. And it was just, Logan makes it look so easy. And I love Logan just kind of has that bulldog mentality. I don't know, how to sum that up, but it's just, man, there's something about watching Logan Gilbert pitch. And man, I get that there's certainly, as Mariner fans, we have been through it, right? Since 2001, we've seen one playoff appearance. We have not been very blessed for baseball, but with this pitching, at the very least, we are extremely blessed to be watching this rotation, and a great performance from Logan Gilbert. Gabe Spire, a great inning, 1 inning, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Spire looks fantastic, which they absolutely need with Brash and Santos being out. So Santos, excuse me. So great to see Gabe Spire. Not that he wasn't great last year, but maybe taking just a tiny step up to go from, really, really good reliever to a legitimate dominant reliever. And if Spire can really start getting right-handed hitters out, not that he's just a lefty specialist, but you're looking at a guy that could legitimately be, a setup guy or even a closer if need be. And in April, they may need that absolutely until they get Santos and Brash back in there. So with Andres Munoz not being available tonight, it was needed. How about Austin Voth, excuse me. 1 inning, struck out the side. He did walk Tristan Casas, and Casas has a great eye at the plate. That happens. But Voth was fantastic. I can't want to say Voth. It's some reason I want to say Voth. I just see that name, so I got to reiterate it in my head. Voth. His sweeper looked nasty. His fastball had good bite to it. Was really impressed. Now, I will say, having to go to Voth in the 9th is exactly why we want Brash and Santos back, because you're having to rely on guys that I just I still don't have a ton of faith in these guys yet. I mean, they've looked great. This isn't taking away from what they did. I have faith in Spire. Obviously, Logan, I'm talking bullpen guys here, but Voth is not a guy that we've seen much of yet in Seattle, but really impressed so far in his couple outings. He's looked good. And listen, if you want to be critical of the Mariners in a lot of areas, that's fine. I certainly understand that. But if there's one thing they have done very, very well, that is finding these bullpen arms. Justin Topa last year, Gabe Spire last year, Taylor Saucedo. We can go back a couple years. Paul Sewald was in that group. That was a waiver claim or something. I'm not. I know he came up from the Mets. I'm not sure if he was free agent signing waiver, whatever it was, but Paul Sewald. I mean, guys like that, they have developed into legitimate weapons in bullpens. So, maybe they're doing it again. Maybe they're doing it again. We'll see. We haven't seen Colin Snyder yet. Haven't seen a lot of Cody Bolton, just the couple innings on Thursday, but maybe Voth, gosh, is the next one to be in that list. I'm also tired, guys, so excuse some of the mistakes. Trent Thornton, I like Trent Thornton. I've defended him. I think he's a decent reliever. You're going to get a sweeper from Trent Thornton. He is going to throw that sweeper, and then he's going to throw that sweeper, and then after that, he's going to throw a sweeper. It's a good pitch. It is. It's a legitimately good sweeper. But he had a chance to get out of that 10th inning unscathed. Now, luckily, the bats bail him out in the 10th, and I'll get to the offense in a minute here. But certainly a little disappointing that, they kind of get a free out with the bunt. I forgot who bunted there for the Red Sox with Rafael on base, popped it up to Urias, and then he's got 2 strikes on Pablo Reyes. You got to find a way to put him away there. You get a break with the Red Sox bunting there in extra innings. So now, what's great about that is you've still got the runner at second with 1 out. Now you just need to focus on getting the hitters out. When you start extra innings, runners at second, nobody out, you can steal a base, a bunt moves a guy over, and you've still got to pay a little bit of attention to the base runner. Well, if you can get that first out without advancing the runner, just got to focus on getting the hitters out. So it's disappointing that Thornton can do that. And truthfully, both of his outs were kind of gifts. The bunt pop out. Now, I mean, he executed his pitch and that caused the bunt to be popped up. So shouldn't be taken away from him. And then Cal Raleigh gets the caught stealing because Reese McGuire doubles and then Yoshida gets the RBI hit. So not a very impressive debut for Trent Thornton. Not super worried. I think this is kind of just what Trent Thornton is. I think he's fine. I think he's a decent reliever. I don't think he's ever going to be like your 9th inning guy. I think he's perfectly acceptable. If you're down a run or 2 in the 7th, 8th inning to come in, if you need a reliever to come in the 4th or 5th early in a lead because the starter's hurt, yeah, he's absolutely fine. But again, the depth is being tested right now with some of the injuries. And then Saucedo came in. Actually, I think, was it Saucedo? Saucedo gave up the hit to Yoshida. I apologize because Thornton was done after McGuire, after the McGuire double. It was actually Saucedo who gave up the hit, and then he intentionally walked Tyler O'Neill. So a little bit of cracks in the armor there. I like Sauce, I like Thornton, but they're flawed guys, and that's okay. Your bullpen cannot be 10 Andres Munozes. If you did, then I mean, pretty much locking a playoff spot if you're that dominant. So you're going to have to rely on some guys that are just not relief aces. That doesn't mean they're bad by any means, but these guys are going to have to step up. And again, this is the second straight game. I mean, I guess you could say 3 to an extent because opening day was close, but your second straight game of, without 2 of your best relievers, can you survive? And they have. They've made it work. I am still a little bit nervous about this bullpen. Munoz is probably going to be getting a few 4-out saves, so you're probably not going to get a lot of back-to-backs from him. Gabe Spire's got to be huge. And then they just need someone else in that group, whether it's Ryan Stanek, Austin Voth, Cody Bolton, Colin Snyder. I don't really care who it is, but one more guy, Thornton, Saucedo, whatever, to step up. And at least they don't have to be as good as Santos and Brash, but replicate the performance, if that makes any sense. When I mean replicate the performance, I mean their ERAs. I don't care, again, how they do it. They, just find a way to get out of these jams. And if it's through luck, I don't really care, but just find a way to get out of it. So hopefully a couple of these guys can step up, because it is probably my biggest nerve right now is just, on the road in Yankee Stadium or something, or in Houston without Santos and Brash. How is this bullpen when you're going to have a night when maybe Kirby's okay, but just a little bit off, can only go 5 innings, and he gives up 2 runs, but the Mariners are up 3-2. Can they survive with these guys at the back end? You know what I mean? So we'll see. So far, getting the job done. Boston's maybe not the best offense to test that against, but so far, good enough, right? Let's move on to the offense. And listen, this was actually going to be my starting point of the video, and I thought they were going to lose. Um, it's okay to not be worried, but to be frustrated. You know what I mean? Through 3 games, like you should not be in panic mode with anything. You know, if the team was 0-3, I would tell you guys we got to take a deep breath. Houston's 0-3. The Yankees have come into Houston, beat them 3 times in a row. Philly's 0-2. You know, these are all teams that had great success last year, almost in the World Series. Now, that doesn't mean you want to get off to a bad start, but it's not the end of the world. And the Mariners are 2-1, so you know they're in good shape. The offenses look bad, right? Like somehow there's been some hard hit balls that have found gloves, but for the most part, you know, again, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts tonight. Yesterday I think it was 2 walks, 14 strikeouts or something like that. And I don't think it was much better on opening day either. So the offense has not looked great. It's looked very 2023-ish. But guys, it's 3 games. It is 3 games. I think it's tough when it happens right away because we have nothing else to base it off of. So we go, this is all the data we have, and it doesn't look good. Every team has 3 game stretches where their offense is just sort of And they've scored, what, 9 runs? I mean, they haven't been, I guess they've been kind of anemic. Even the extra inning runs were kind of a Luke Raley blooper, Rojas base hit that happens to get by a defender. Julio's was solid, but JP hits what should have been a routine out. You know what I mean? So even in the extra innings, the offense didn't exactly come alive. We'll take it anyway. I don't care. Like if you want to bloop your way to a World Series win, Mariners, like please by all means, be my guest, be all of our guests and do that. But overall just has not been a great performance. I still like this offense though. JP, Julio, Jorge Polanco, I was about to say Gregory Polanco, Jorge Polanco, Mitch Haniger, Cal Raleigh. These are established players that should be able to give you really, really good production this year. I'm just not worried. And it's 3 games. It is 3 games. This is 162. Now, I'm glad the Mariners, they're 2-1. I don't want to say they're off to a better start because we're not even into anything where you should be breaking anything really down yet overall. But with that said, while I'm not worried, it is important to get off to a good start because, we've seen this team in the past start off slow and then guys start to press a little bit and it just leads you deeper into the funk. So that's why it's really nice that they're finding a way to win the last couple nights, because I think what can happen is, you lose, let's say they lose last night. Let's say they just Stanek gives up a couple runs or something, they lose 2-1. They don't score in the 10th inning tonight. They lose 3-1. They're 1-2. Am I worried? No, they're going to have 3 game stretches where they lose 2 out of 3. But maybe some of the guys start pressing a little bit. Maybe guys get a little bit like, I got to step up. I got to win this game today. And then it can lead you into further struggles. But now with a couple wins, maybe it takes a little pressure off. Like, okay, yeah, we need to play a little bit better, but we are winning baseball games. So take a deep breath. The offense will find a groove. Now, do I know what the upside is? I think it's pretty high, but I do think there's some question marks. But even last year, despite some frustrations, the team was 12th in baseball in runs scored. I think it was 12th in runs scored. Either 11th or 12th. I'm not sure. Let's go with 12th for just it's in that range. Okay. That's still really good. Like this is not by any means going to be a poor offense. It could be susceptible to being streaky. I think that's very possible, but this should, by all accounts, be a fairly decent offense. And again, yes, pitching is going to be the name of the game with this team. This team will be led and carried by its pitching staff, as I actually exit out of my son's playing Fortnite, I think, in the other room. I heard a scream. I thought something happened. Not going to edit that out. It's just all part of the fun here. You got to have those late night, Saturday night Fortnite tournaments with your buddies, I guess. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this team's going to be carried by its pitching staff. The hope is that the offense, though, is in that, top 10 range where it doesn't have to be 27 Yankees, but it's enough to back up these starters. It's enough to the last chance, a perfect example. There's no reason George Kirby and Logan Gilbert should not both be 1-0. Now, George is, Logan unfortunately gets a no decision today. Those are the games you got to win. And this offense should definitely be good enough to win games when you're getting performances like that. It will get better. And I honestly, I know some people want to hear it. Boston's pitching deserves some credit. They have looked really good. Brian Bayo's a really good young pitcher that keeps the ball on the ground like crazy. He pitched opening day. Pavetta looked really good. I know he's had some mixed results in his career, but his stuff is good. And Cutter Crawford was solid last year. He's a good pitcher. So, and I don't think Boston's a great team, but they're not terrible either. They're kind of just stuck in a really loaded division. Boston's going to be, I think, a 500-ish ball club. Their record, I think, might be a little bit worse because of their division, but they're not a terrible baseball team. And their pitching is solid. And not only is it solid, they have pitched legitimately well. Some of this, the last couple games, has just been Boston has been good. So I would say with the offense, I would relax. I wouldn't be too concerned yet. Being disappointed is fine through the 3 games. I have not been overly impressed yet with any offensive performance, but these guys have had 14 at-bats at most, right? Like, again, I say all the time, every player on this team is a 4 for 4 tomorrow away from having an OPS of 1,200. So I'm not going to get too worried about it. I'll go through the box score real quick. JP was 1 for 5 with an RBI, the RBI in the ground out. The hit was on the bunt hit in the first inning, which he gets to second on. Julio 1 for 5 with the game winner RBI. Polanco was 0 for 3 with a walk. Polanco looks like maybe pressing a little bit at the plate. He's had some rough swings so far. Again, not worried about Jorge Polanco, but definitely he's had some rough swings so far. Mitch Haniger 1 for 4 with an RBI. He got the scoring started in the first inning. By the way, tonight was the first night the Mariners scored without getting their runs via the home run. Haniger single, Raley single, JP ground out, Julio single. It's a little bit of small ball tonight, a little bit of change of pace. Cal 0 for 3 with the walk. He's been off to a tough start. Ty was 1 for 4. He had that bat. I don't remember what inning it was in, the 6th or 7th. Man, he had a 3-1 pitch in the dirt where he could have walked on and had an awful check swing on it. I don't remember what inning that was in, but that was kind of a poor at bat. Luke Raley 1 for 4 with the RBI. That was good to see. Dylan Moore was 0 for 2. Canzone pinched hit 0 for 1. Urias 0 for 1, but he, in his defense, he stung the ball 105 off the bat. So he made good contact. Josh Rojas, I actually think, had the best night at the plate. 2 for 4 with the run scored. First of all, was it Rojas? He was robbed by Rafaela. I think in the second inning or something. I don't remember which inning it was, but Rafaela made a huge diving catch. Or was that against Cal? That might have get that. You know what? I think that was off Cal Raleigh. I think Rojas did sting a ball early. I need to get better at taking notes, I think, during the games. But then he had a nice base hit against Chris Martin and Martin's a really good reliever. And Rojas went down, I think got a changeup, stayed on it, drove a base hit into the outfield. And then in extra innings against a left-hander, goes out, gets the hit, and then great hustle, drives the ball into right field. And great hustle by Rojas to get into second there. And he had to keep his head up that whole time because that was a close play at second base. If he hesitates for half a second, he is probably out there. So a great. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video for a second. Had to go lay down some dad law. The Fortnite was getting a little loud out there, but great hustle there by Josh Rojas on that play. Just tremendous to see there. Luke Raley and Josh Rojas in extra innings, really impressive to me with the efforts that both of them showed. Raley coming home in that play, Rojas getting into second, but plays that are the margin is this, and it probably won the game tonight for the Seattle Mariners. Great win. Mariners are 2-1. I say it every time, guys. Enjoy it when your team wins. We can find things to be disappointed and a little upset about and a little worried about. Absolutely. Not saying everything is coming up roses so far, but it's 3 games in, first and foremost. So it's just everything is a small sample size. And the Mariners won 66% of their games so far, well above 54%. So, enjoy it. Enjoy it when your team wins. It's a nice feeling. It feels good. The Mariners are 2-1. They've got a chance to win a series tomorrow with Bryce Miller on the mound. And after losing the opening day, they got a chance to win 3 in a row here. And hopefully, afternoon, maybe the sun's out in Seattle. I don't know what the weather's looking like out there. Maybe the ball flies a little bit more tomorrow and we see some more offense from these guys tomorrow. Because I do think these bats will come alive too. And I will say one more thing before I get out with the offense. And I don't know what the rest of the league's been looking like offensively, but offense is usually a little bit behind every year. I think Scott Service talked about it. Like, it takes some time to get into that rhythm of offense. I think the same happens in football sometimes. Offense is a lot about, now football's a little different, but it's a lot about timing and everything. Whereas defense can be more effort flying around. I think pitchers are usually a little bit ahead of batters, and it's colder out right now. Got the marine layer out there. The ball's not flying quite as much. So I really, really would not be worried. I know some people are going to tell you, like, oh, this offense stinks. It didn't stink last year. It had moments, but it did not stink last year. And I don't think anybody would say they didn't get better with the additions of Polanco, Rayleigh, and Mitch Garver hasn't played the last 2 games with back spasms. So, the guy you brought into DH and kind of anchor the middle of the lineup hasn't even played the last couple of days. That hurts. Would Mitch Garver have brought in 5 more runs last 2 days? Maybe he does hit a couple home runs. Who knows? A couple doubles or something that score runs. So you never know. So that impacts it as well. So hopefully he's back tomorrow, if not back Monday. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Once again, I cannot thank you guys enough for the likes, the comments, the subs. Truly means a lot to me. Guys, if you can, I'm closing in now on 3,000 subs, about 186 away. And if the last 2 videos are any indication, we're getting closer. So share these videos, whatever you can do, help out the channel. And starting next week, I'll have some stuff up on some live streams. Like I said, think about becoming a channel member. There's going to be some cool stuff there. I do giveaways. I got some people that can attest to that. I follow through on those things. I don't say I'm going to do giveaways and then not get you your stuff. So all that information will be coming out next week. We're going to dive in. This is going to be a great season. Again, the Mariners lost this game last year, and they find a way to get the W last night. Enjoy it. Have a great night, everybody. Go Mariners. Peace.